So this is another one of those grind my button videos. And this is going to cover a movie called The Ritual. A great movie, by the way. I do suggest watching it if you haven't. Um, it's a really great movie. It is a horror movie, but there's a few things that, only a couple things that really bother me about it. One is a couple things dealing with the character Dom that's in that movie. Um, like I just generally think he's a kind of a like a jerk. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of the problems stem from him. Like he instigate like one of the with the character Luke. I think a lot of the problems he pushes even worse. Um, which is could be part of the issue, part of the thing, part of the story, and done on purpose. Um, which is fine. It's not a huge issue. This is not a huge issue. Um, but really one of the bigger things I find a problem with is like one of the points in the movie. He like kind of like messes up his like knee or something, and like to me it feels like it only hurts when the story demands it. You know what I mean? Because like there's certain points where he's just walking fine after this is after he heard it, right? Like he's just walking fine. Like there's at one point like they heard something and like heard someone scream and they come out and he's like walking fine. But then like later he has to take a break because it's hurting too much. Just like a little bit later. I think they should have leaned into that. I think he should have leaned into that more because that's one of the big reasons why they're taking the shortcut through. Which leads me to another thing um that I have a problem with, and it's the shortcut they take. Like I generally think, and I think Dom actually brings it up, like actually legitimately brings it up in the movie, and like I think Dom actually says it perfectly. It wouldn't be a shortcut. It would be called if a shortcut is actually a shortcut, it wouldn't be called that. It'd be called a route. You know, because like if a trail is going around a forest, there's probably a very good reason if the trail leads around a forest. So there's a couple of reasons why that might be the case. One, they know that thing's in there and they're avoiding that for a reason. Or two, it's like a protective sanctuary type of place. You know, in either way, you probably shouldn't go into there. Uh, Even if it is shorter, I wouldn't even trust it. I would try to go around it regardless because you could easily get lost even if you have a compass and everything. I wouldn't want to. I would just try to go around it because um, if something else were to happen, it's much more likely to actually run into someone. Another problem I think I kind of have a problem with, and I think it's stupid because I think a lot of people just chalk it up to like, oh, there's just or people are stupid. Um, when they finally decide to go into the woods, right? I think there's some really early signs where they should have just turned around. You know what I mean? Like I know I probably would have. For example, when they first go into the woods, one of the very first things they see, like super early, is like a deer up in the tree, gutted, right? And they chalk it up to be like, oh, hunters or like a bear. Like I think one was saying like a bear did that or something. Like they even like pointed out type of thing, like how ridiculous that is. But like, why? Well, like a bear clearly wouldn't do that. They just they would. There's no reason for them to. It's so much effort for they for something they would gain nothing out of. Um, neither would a hunter. A hunter, and it was pretty high up there too. It's a good like 6, 7 feet or more in the air. Like they had to look up at it and each right. Like and it's like it was gutted and it was like in up in the air. So like, and like I don't know. I I don't know. I would think I would chalk it up to like clearly ritual, and I'll turn around. The next thing I would actually saw a warning sign is they keep on walking. It started raining and saw a symbol, and then like an empty house, and in subside there was like a shrine, and like at that's another clear sign. Oh, this is like there's some cult shit going on here, and I don't think I would actually want to go be here, and I would try to leave. And it's raining, yeah, but I would try to leave as soon as possible. You know what I mean? Like they're stupid because of story reasons. No, I think it's just uh, it's overused, and I think it's a good example here. Oh, another thing that I kind of have a problem with is this kind of stems back to the whole Dom thing, right? Like after the raining night, right? They all have nightmares, and they first go and they just see trees knocked down and a clear path, right, in through the forest, and like they're like, oh, let's go this direction, right? Because that's clearly where the lodge is, right? It's in that direction, right? And Dom said, nope, nope, path equals civilization. I'm going that way. And they would know, right? That path probably wasn't there beforehand, right? They knew. They knew this. They saw it. But they decided to go a path, like, away from the lodge. Like, the opposite direction, even. They decided to go the opposite direction of the lodge. Because what? Because Dom decided, nope, civilization's in that way. Because he was fed up. You know, yeah. Another problem I think that I have, and I think it's just Dom causing problems and having drama, right? Which is fine. And I think they should have kept it in because it clearly adds tension and everything. But uh, and I think he was just he could have been just saying out of anger, but um, they're all having an argument, and Luke had like a wound on his chest or whatever, and Dom says, "You're on your own. You did that to yourself. You ran into a tree." Like, I don't think a tree would do that, man. And why would he do it to himself? Everyone was having nightmares, right? And one of them was like naked praying to a shrine, right? So, like, it's clear that he didn't. So, like, I don't know, man. Oh, another huge plot thing, right? That I think mainly what Dom said, right? That Dom brought it up. um, but he said like he blames Luke for their friend's death, right? And Luke was blaming himself too. Like that was one of the huge things, and like and blaming yourself in a situation like that is fine, but like I think like I don't know. I have a problem with that because like if Dom or if Luke did try to fight back, it was very possible that he could have died too. You know what I mean? And like, there's no real winning in that situation that he was put in. And I think that was one of the things that he had to work through and realize, right? But I don't know. It just boils back to, you know, Dom being a dick. You know, I don't know. Now this is just another one of the things that you're not supposed to ask because like you're just not supposed to ask these sort of questions, and I know it. But I can't help myself here. But um, they were spending another night in the forest, and like uh, the monster thing, right? Um, grabbed Hutch and like killed him, and did the same, gave him the deer treatment, right? And like they all find him, and then like it cuts to him being on the ground. Like he was on in the tree, and suddenly a cut, and he was on the ground, right? And how they were all acting. when they were on the ground, when he was on the ground, makes me wonder how did they actually get him down? Right? Like, did they just like climb up, break the branches, and let him fall? Did they carry him, like grab him and like slowly like bring him down? Like, it's a, I don't, I mean, I know it's their friend, but that's a lot of effort, man. You know, like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. I know you're not supposed to ask that, right? But I am how they get him down. That's what I want to know. That's a lot of effort, you know. And there's like two people that could have done it because Dom has hurt his leg, and I don't see him actually climbing up and getting him down. You know, I guess they could have just I don't know. I don't see them actually dropping him either. You know, yeah, like I don't actually see them dropping him. So how? Another thing that I kind of have a problem with after the whole like Hutch situation, they were walking right, and Luke grabbed the like a knife, and there were three of them, and they were like kind of talking about what happened, and like they're all talking about the creature, and Dom was like, oh, effing hell, it was like hillbillies, right? And then he started yelling, and like I just have to think, bro, if it's hillbillies, they're clearly murderous because they just killed your friend, and like you think it's a good idea to actually like yell and give away your positioning like that. Like I know he was mad, but like goddamn, like what makes you think to actually like yell like that? You know, like so they have there's two things. Either you're right and it's hillbillies, right? Which they dragged up an elk and gutted it, which take would take a lot of effort for basically nothing, and killed your friend and did the same thing to him. Or it's a giant monster who did that. Either way, it's not a good thing. And I don't. Ugh, so stupid. Like he should have. I think he should have known better. I don't know. I don't know. This is one more thing, and it's more just a curiosity than anything wrong with the movie or the story or whatever. It's just more of a curiosity. Is I want to see what happens after the credits roll and when he gets back to town. Like, what's he gonna tell them? Like, what's he actually gonna tell them? Because, like, he went out hiking, right? This is the order of events, right? From a third person perspective, right? Four people, right? He came with three friends, okay? Three people, right? And he was at the lodge. He was staying at the lodge with three people, right? And they went out hiking for several days, right? I think it was like 4 days, okay, 4 or 5 days. I think it was like it was 5 days because it was like at night and it was like the dawn of the next day when he escaped, right? So I think it was like 5 days. He came back. Only him came back with literally like no one else. You know, like what? How's he gonna explain that? You know what I mean? Like to the people at the lodge, the people he gets home to his wife and everything. Like, who's actually gonna believe that like a giant monster killed them? You know what I mean? Like, I guess you could say like cultists did it. I guess that would be more believable than a monster. And you could say that, but I want to see it. You know, like what actually, like what? How do you actually do you think? And what did he do with all the stuff that he had there? Did he actually just carry it back with him? Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. There's a lot of questions here. You know. Yeah, I don't know. But that's it. That's it. I don't really have a lot of problems on that, and a lot of things like if you change something, you'll change. I think it'll change a lot of the story as well. I love it. The movie. I do recommend it. But until then, have a good one. Bye bye.